I may have touched on this subject in other videos, but I've seen it come up a couple of times in comments, and it's I think worth going over it again. There's all kinds of scientific theories and all kinds of stuff and blah blah blah, and this whole notion that I wish science had perfect integrity, but it really doesn't. There's been a lot of kind of cracked science, and one that really bothers me is this idea that it's predictable, that we can predict or even come up with any number whatsoever regarding the probability of life forming on other planets, whether it's carbon-based or not or whatever, but just the idea of it, that there's any way to calculate that number. We obviously haven't been able to recreate life in a test tube or beaker or vial or petri dish or anything else. We haven't built a reproducing organism. We have absolutely no idea how improbable it is. Just none. No idea. Could be really simple. Could be preposterously unlikely. Our history could be, there could be events like 700 lightning strikes, within 10 minutes in the same, 4-foot radius. I mean, there could be a preposterously improbable event that led to the creation of the first reproducing organism that was capable of mutation and change. And so it's just false science. There's just no way to do anything but wildly guess. There's certainly, we can know certain things in the sense that we know it certainly isn't simple. It doesn't happen easy. This isn't life, probably, we can say that realistically. It just probably isn't popping up all over the place, because it does seem, the fact that we can't recreate it does seem to indicate it isn't simple. It does require a very narrow and specific set of circumstances. And then even when you go through our evolution, there's all these stages to our evolution. I mean, life existed on this planet for some 4 billion years now, and it wasn't until, maybe 20,000 years ago that an organism finally acquired the capacity of language and to store and accumulate, I hate that word, over time, knowledge. And so here's another, could be an incredible improbability. We just don't know. I mean, obviously in 4 billion years, no organism on Earth acquired our level of thinking intelligence. And our capacity to have an evolving intelligence, if that might be a better way to put it. And so it's like a new life form. It is, it does have its own growth and change and expansion potential that's almost separate from our own physical development. But anyway, we just don't know. We don't know how improbable a brain was, eyeballs, the whole thing. It's just each one of these steps in evolution could have been highly improbable. I mean, the scenario is that as the winners of the lottery, so to speak, our judgment is corrupted, because it seems so. Look, if you're the winner of the lottery, obviously stuff like, well, you can't win if you're not in it, all that stuff can make sense because you won the lottery. But that is not the objective way to look at it. And so it really isn't science. You know, when people pop these numbers, just pull them out of a hat and say, okay, well, there's a zillion possible planets, and so, well, there must be all kinds of life out there, because life can only be, well, it's only 10 billion to 1 odds or some other kind of number, and just there's no point in making a number up, because there's absolutely no way to make that calculation. It's just, it's created, it's contrived, it's invented. It's not science, it's bullshit. And you know, unfortunately I see some of that in physics. I mean, there's, you know, some little irregularity that they haven't explained in the math, and all of a sudden there's multi-dimensional universes, and, you know, time warps and all kinds of other crap, and it's just rampant speculation, and just you know, based on you know, it's almost like a henny penny scenario. I mean, it's, you know, one little, you know, a leaf falls off a tree and all of a sudden the sky is falling, or whatever. I mean, just this, it's an invention of, it's an excuse to, you know, just run with nonsense, and it just goes way too far to call it science. It's out on way too thin a limb. And certainly people, speculation is great, imagination is great, but let's not call that science. So anyway, just a little shot at the, you know, I can't remember the guy's name who came up with the, you know, life probability equation, but it's bullshit. It's bullshit.